Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity and practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, so welcome back to the Reframing Mindset podcast. My name is Colin Smith Brooks, and this episode is going to be me talking about um uh, the day after, basically after taking this COVID vaccine, and I'll talk about Independence Day. We celebrated Independence Day, August 1st, which was no, August 6th. I mean, which was recording was yesterday. Yeah, so mhm. I guess if I feel like it, I'll actually talk about something else. Something else that was on my mind. But now let's get into it. So boom. So the day after taking the COVID vaccine. So well, the day when I took the COVID vaccine, I never ate anything. I just because I just went to the clinic and they were available. So I just said, okay, I'm going to take the vaccine. So what I have to think out, I think you should do is just actually eat well before you take the COVID vaccine because my appetite actually fell for like a whole day and I felt extremely hungry. And I think that's due to the body fighting the vaccine. And and what I mean by fighting, that's all the vaccine a vaccine is basically you're injecting the outer coat of the virus. So the COVID virus, you're injecting the outer coat. So it's not the real virus you're getting, just the outer portion of it is injected into your body so that the body can fight that and then develop antibodies which can use to fight the real thing. So with that being said, and I get injected with it, it actually um when I get injected with it, the body I think the body was because it was fighting that it actually my body got very weak and I get very hungry and I lose a lot of appetite and stuff like that. And and I felt bad for like the night and the next day until about in the evening when I actually went out and kind of walk and see something. So I think the first thing I should say is you must eat well before you take the vaccine. Mhm. Or at least have 2 days worth of food prepared up front. And then also take multivitamin the next day or on the day. And I recommend this other thing, the SSS tonic, which is basically a iron supplement, which can give you more iron. Iron is used to make hemoglobin, which is which is part of the blood, and the blood carries the immune cells used to fight virus. So that also helps mhm, in giving you more immune power to fight the virus. Mhm. But other from that now I kind of feel okay. You know, the worst of it seems like it's gone. But it's just the second day still, so I never know. So if I feel any more changes, then I will actually tell you. But other from that, it was pretty alright. So the only thing I can tell you is basically, eat before you eat before you take the vaccine, Mhm. and after you take some multivitamin the next day. If you took that the day. So the next thing is, yeah, we celebrated Independence Day, August 6th, which was yesterday. And yesterday also, our females run the 4 by 100 and actually won it. And also, we we did well in the Olympics. We did well in the Olympics. We got some nice medal. The ladies, the men didn't really do that well, but our ladies did well. I get to just congratulate them and thing. So, but yesterday was Independence Day. So here on our GIS, Jamaican Information Service website, I'm just going to give you an overview why this day is extremely important. So boom, and I'll actually put the link to this information and in the description also. So if you actually want to read what I just read for yourself, which isn't really long, but I just do it for the names for your benefit. So boom, what he said is the birth of a nation. This day is the celebration of a birth of a nation. In February 1962, a new constitution was approved by the legislature and the premier Norman Manley called the general election. Alexander Bustamante was elected in April and became the first prime minister of Jamaica. On August 6, 1962, Jamaica became an independent nation and a member of the British Commonwealth. Jamaica becoming an independent nation now meant that Britain no longer controlled the affairs of the country. It was now the responsibility of the newly elected prime minister and the locally elected cabinet. Independence also meant that a constitution, symbols, emblems, an army, Jamaican currency, and passport had to be developed for the country. As an independent nation, Jamaica assigns ambassadors overseas who represent the country. They sign treaties on behalf of Jamaica and become members of various international organizations. This is important as it gives Jamaica equal rights on various issues relating to international trade, policies, and treaties. Every year on August 6, every year on August 6, Jamaicans celebrate the removal of our dependence on Britain to control specific functions of the country. At this time, we also honor all the people who were responsible for the transfer of power. In October, during National Heritage Week, the third Monday in October, we also honor our six national heroes and one heroine in recognition of their contribution to the birth of our nation. So that's basically it in regards to the independence. And thing. And yeah, so so the next thing is, it just came on to me. It's an idea that came on to me, and it's due to some recent interactions. And recently I've been watching more content, more content or videos and stuff about female and male dynamics and things like that. And is while I've been talking about it, I've been having more interaction with females and stuff like that. And I know I come from a family of females and stuff. So the the other thing I was also talking about now is woman dynamics, me and woman dynamics. And it, it was this is more a reflection, you know, to see how so first I'm gonna start with how I got here. So from primary school, looking back and thinking from primary school, I would say indirectly, my competition has always been female. And what I mean by that, my successes or lack of success is always due to a female, you know. In grade one and stuff like that, I never came first because a female came ahead of me. And over time, doing science and stuff, naturally, male were the not a lot of males were doing science. And if you actually listen to the series, the A-part series of the my first year U biochemistry experience, you'll see a lot of females and going through school and stuff like that. You'll see a lot of females that came in at odd points you know and just um was there either distracting or whatever. So that was my so that's the basic reflection on how I got here. But also, you have this weird dynamic, So I'm a scientist, I'm a scientist by trade. Science is my thing, and that technically makes me a nerd. It's not a skill people praise in Jamaica if you do science and talk about science. If you hear me speak about the COVID vaccine thing in the first part, 90% of Jamaica really don't understand what I had said. They would, and I think if they listen it and they will understand the basic idea what I'm telling them, which is basically to eat before the vaccine um and take a multivitamin. But the in detail thing that I talk about otherwise from that would technically be the first time they maybe hear it. So you see, yeah, I am a scientist, and the average people don't like wouldn't be interested. Oh, I want to hear about science. Or even me is not someone would say, oh, I want to hear about science. But that's what I am by trade. I'm a scientist, so I speak in the principle of science, and I also love anime. If I'm not talking about science, anime is my second thing. And then now, recently, I've been more into this a different kind of lifestyle. Different kind of lifestyle. That it's called the red pill lifestyle. A red pill is basically you just actually coming out of the matrix. It's a movie called The Matrix, and in the movie you have the red pill and the blue pill. And the red pill is you saying you have the red pill, which is here. You take this pill and you say, oh, you see the world for what it really is, and you had to make a choice and decision based on your new knowledge of the world. And then you have the blue pill is which you can take it and then you go back to being indoctrinated by the society. You go back to living society standard and whatever. But so I took the metaphorically took the red pill and say, yo, I'm out of the society. I was an outsider from the beginning. I'm a science student, so I'm an outsider from the beginning. I'm an anime person, so I was technically a nerd from the jump. So society was never for me. Society, I was always the outside of society. I was never really fully taken in, you know, and you can see that also from my job experiences and stuff like that and those things. I was never really taken in, no matter what I did, you know. But also, this one new girl now actually helped me reinforce that. And it's weird. It weird how it happened. Weird how it happened. And maybe and it makes me kind of reinforce what I've been learning and what I've been trying to do. Where over this time, my thing was I'm just trying to remove all the outside distraction. And majority of the distraction were females, as because females' goal were uh, counterproductive to my goal. And that can be most seen in by looking at the cities in Jamaica, Mobile and Kingston, where those two cities in Jamaica is as a result of uh, women's leadership and more presence. You know, women outnumber men there by a lot, and you can see the result of that there. That is not me bashing or disrespecting female. That is just results. You know that in science, that's unfutable results. You're not. It's not something like you can emotion your way. Oh, that's the reality. You know, woman elect the officials there. They woman elects the prime minister as they have given the right to vote and they outnumber men many to one. So women are the ones who choose all the laws, all the things. You know, so every so the reflection of the road, if the reflection of the world is as a result of woman's decision, and me taking a red pill kind of make me see that and make me say, okay, let me just not focus on woman now, and be influenced by my grandmother, and my grandmother telling me about her relationship with my grandfather, and how it was not that perfect union, and then the other thing is that my my grandfather now is not alive. So it kind of gives me that also kind of give me a different view on love in that love my love is fine. You know, my grandfather is not alive now and things. So love is finite. One of us maybe we came into this world on our own and we go out on our own. So me wasting my time trying to find love and all these things is actually valuable time waste because in the end we're going into the grave and it that my grandfather being in the grave now kind of reinforced that for me and with that being said, I kind of remove a lot of females in my life. But obvious, really enough, they try to come in, and sap their resources. And as I said before, you should listen to my all early episodes where I talk about female dynamic. They came in, they come in, use and abuse you and whatever, and then take what they want and leave. That's so. This new one now is odd because she reinforced what I've been saying so much so in such a way that you have to look at you know it's weird and I actually like this person. I actually like this person. She's someone technically right now no right now no but back when I was falling for the illusion of love or lust, you know she was one I could say yeah, I was because she was the only perfect female in this weird period of my life, you know. But what actually helped me got out of that illusion was realizing what was happening, So, and this is for the males also. This may be you also, and hopefully this can be also a wake up call for you, and you realize that your time maybe some of you time was wasted, messaging females and stuff and not realizing what has been happening. And you wake up and realize that we are in life and say, wow, this is a result of me prioritizing other people instead of my life, And so that's the thing. So boom. So what happened with it, girl? So boom, when I went to UE and stuff, this was one of my dorm mates and thing, and we were good friends and dorm. But I left the university and stuff like that, and I was more. So when you leave the university, the next thing now is to look at job and trying to establish yourself. So in trying to establish myself, I realized that Instagram was one of those distractions. I was actually looking at Instagram a lot and being distracted and from my work and my goals and stuff like that. So I got the idea. I said, boom, let me just remove and follow a lot of these people. And I just unfollow a lot of random people, a lot of random people that I thought. And she was one of them. So, boom, and I still do remember that she had my phone number. So she messaged me and said, "Oh, boom, you unfollowed me," and stuff like that. And I was just explaining to her that, it's not no hard feelings. It's just that, I'm a, I'm in a new chapter in my life, and certain things kind of had to change and stuff like that. But I ended up re-follow her back out of, because I never thought much of it. So now, something I haven't realized was I was in on success, and I didn't realize how much I was messaging her. Like on WhatsApp, you have things like WhatsApp story and stuff like that. I usually reply to her, and then when she feels like she reply back, I usually just do that and then do that and do that, not realizing that she was never one that initiate anything. She just, as one of the red pill terms is, she wanted to be in her orbit, to maybe orbit. And after some time, after doing that and thing, I actually me being her orbit kind of maybe got more feelings, and I actually just told her, I said, "Well, you're all the perfect girl in this time," and that was the moment that actually opened my eyes that, yeah, she was she she wasn't really actual a partner in crime, as they say. She was nothing. That's legit it. She was nothing. She was just there. She was a person that, the best way to describe it, yeah, it's like she was a notes app on my phone, where when I wanted to type and um put something in my head on paper, she was a notes app on my phone. That's when I realized. And how I realized it is, I recommend a movie to her that kind of give me an idea of the girl that she reminds me of in the movie. I recommended to her. She said, uh, so I said, well, something like, "Oh, would you likely to watch a movie I recommend?" I probably won't. That was the first round. I said, "Yeah, this girl doesn't really, she's really interested. She she's legit just want me in our orbit. She's not, and then I eventually start messaging her some other thing. I realized that, this girl is more focused on her work and her career, which isn't bad or anything. You can do you, and stuff like that. But she reinforced everything that I've learned from way back when, until now, when I said the girl just come in, use and abuse you and take what they want, and when they get what they want, they leave way. So she being in the town area. I'm from the country, and I'm here back in the countryside of Jamaica. So when I coming back to the country and stuff like that, we had nothing in common, But fought, she keeps on fall for the allure of what she thinks she saw when we were together at university and stuff like that. So she was one of those persons that kind of woke me up about the illusion of this love and lust thing. And I've been trying to convince other people of this love and lust thing, which is a facade, and get them to focus back on the real things of life. But people, when you actually, we called it, like one of my song, a song for my favorite rappers, cheap porn and free drugs or stuff like that. No, no, cheap drugs and free porn. We have women have actually weakened men. We are fully weakened, weakened, weak. We are fully weak as a society. Men are more likely to die now. We are not. Men lifespan has drastically dropped due to women, and indirectly in that, when a man has a woman now, she wants to protect him and keep in society, so they're more likely to become criminals or all kind of foolishness because of a woman. All these things kind of made me realize it, and then not only that, you know, I was a person that was more hopeful on marriage and finding the right girl, married in marriage and actually starting a family. All that going to shambles now with a new freedom and woman empowerment. Woman is more likely to marry the government than actual man. So that's something else that you actually learn. And all these things you realize when you take the red pill and you just walk out in society. And all these things that I'm speaking now, it would make sense to you until they actually interact with females for a while and they see how they are using and abusing you. When they realize, as a man, they don't really like you. They don't really like you. They just like what you can provide. So you realize when you're taking girls on dates and stuff like that, they don't really come here for you. They come here for the free food and the nice place. You see them and you see yourself taking pictures for them to post on social media and stuff like that. And all these things is due to the social media age where people are trying to, give a highlight reel of their life and stuff like that. And that technically just made has significantly dropped the value of women. Women have been is now the most empowered gender, the gender with the most opportunities and stuff like that and everything. And it and as a man, it's one of those weird realities where them being the most propped up gender genuinely means nothing to you as a man. It doesn't help you more financially. It doesn't help you support you in the home or nothing like that. It genuinely means nothing to you as a man. You still have to work on your own goals, get your own job, get your own thing to support yourself and build your own self. Them getting propped up by the government or whatever genuinely means nothing to you. And that's one of those weird things where, as a person, I had to, that girl, you know, recent girl, I kind of thank her for actually showing me that, showing me how, yeah. And, maybe, well, more likely not, she will not listen to it. As I said, she's barely has interest. She's a city girl, technically. She's a city girl. She's indoctrinated in the city. So, you know, all these things, even if she listen it, she might hear some animosity about her. I don't know, more push her away, but it's reality. It's genuinely reality. And reality it's not fairy tale. It's, talking to my grandmother and stuff like that. I realize there's not much fairy tale in reality. All we can do is just trust God and keep our minds on God and, cause it's God's creation and stuff like that. And let's do what we need to do as man to develop ourselves and that, and just remove majority of distraction. So that's my mini rant on woman and male dynamics and how women are broken down male to be one of the weakest sex in the whole animal species. Yeah, in the more animal species. But other from that, right now, I actually just finished downloading the new streaming gameplay recording app, which I'm going to try to see and see if it works and see if I can actually get started with this let's play thing, you know. See, but that was my mini rant on the COVID, new COVID side effects, Independence Day, and male and female dynamics. My my view on it. So thank you for listening, and maybe sometime in the future you hear me become more less cynical about this world and more hopeful and happy. But no, this is my real world, real life take on it, and you won't understand it until you actually go through it. So, but thank you for listening, and look for yeah. But thank you for listening, and yeah, look forward for the next episode. You know.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
So, I just did it for around 5 minutes and stuff, and burn around 20 calories. I was like, bro, that's nothing. You have to burn like for 1,500 calories a day. I'm like, what? And then just send me to the treadmill to do some running and jogging. Well, some treadmill stuff. I did that for around 32 minutes, and burned like 200 calories. Yeah. And then I went onto another bicycle and then I do some cycling. And and then after that I did I did some more gym work and stuff. And the gym was pretty. It was. And it's funny enough that after I finished gym and stuff, drinking and all this stuff like drinking juice and all that stuff, it just feel like it just going down in the body. It just feel my body just feel